Let's get into this discussion now as phase 2 of retrieval of illegal miners is underway at a Stilfontein mine shaft. The South African Police Service in the Northwest say they'd been approached by a man who said he could help officers with the process, but only if he's paid 30% of allocated budget. Now, in the lead up to operations to retrieve the illegal miners, Northwest Community Safety MEC said that the operation is a first of its kind to be undertaken. Over recent years, the country has seen the emergence of crimes of extortion and illegal mining become more prevalent, with the police trying to grapple with these new kinds of crimes in communities. So are police trained adequately to deal with these kinds of crimes, or do the services need to be established, or rather establish specialized units and training for these types of crimes? Now, South African Policing Union's Gauteng Provincial Secretary, Jabu Mabaso, joins us now. Good morning, Jabu, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Masechaba. Good morning and morning to your viewers.
Firstly, I mean, we've just heard some damning allegations. What are your thoughts around the suggestion that the South African police could be working with the Zama-Zamas?
Masechaba, the community will come out and say the police are working with the Zama-Zamas, but nothing solid has been reported. It comes on media. So we have asked that people can report anonymously so that we know what to investigate. So something that just pops up like that and investigations need to be followed becomes problematic because nothing solid is coming up except for what we get on the media.
Now, Jabu,
they know yeah?
Are police officers adequately trained to deal with illegal mining and extortion cases?
Police officers are trained to combat crime. That is their main focus. And so with everything else happening with the mining, we need to get a specialized unit where that is concerned. We need to ensure that we capacitate our police and help them with this operation.
All right, let's expand a little bit more on this now. What additional resources or support do police officers need to effectively combat illegal mining and extortion?
The government needs to come on board. The police itself needs to come on board because as an organization, we are looking out for our members to ensure that they are well capacitated so that they can do their job adequately. So now the government needs to come on board because this mining problem is not just a policing problem. It's a community problem. It's a human safety problem. It's a social problem. So every department needs to come on board and join hands to see what can be done in order to make sure that the mining pandemic, if I can call it that way, the mining pandemic is actually dealt with. So all of us need to join forces to make sure that we do a good job on this.
I think you've described it accurately when you say pandemic. It also seems like there's a challenge in addressing illegal mining in South Africa, as police are constantly reacting to incidents, at least from where we're sitting. Do we know who benefits more when it comes to these illegal mining activities? Who's the big client?
We cannot say who the big client is, but yes, there's definitely a big client because these people are working to give something to somebody. But then those are matters that the police are investigating. And when the big client is gotten, the big client should be arrested and face the full arm of the law. Because we cannot have our communities being terrorized because there's killings happening, a whole lot is happening. So we cannot have that happen and nothing is being done to anybody. Somebody must be held accountable with this.
Absolutely. So how can the police service better collaborate with communities and other stakeholders to prevent and especially address illegal mining and extortion?
As SAPU, we are always calling on the community to actually come up front and say what is happening, who is doing what. Because the community is the one that is living with these people. They know who the perpetrators are. They know who's doing all these things, but they never say anything, but will be complaining And so a complaint without something solid to work on becomes fruitless because the police will be trying to investigate and getting somewhere. But when they need to get the gist of the matter, it becomes a problem because there's nothing they can go on because the community is quiet. So we are urging the community to please speak up. Do not be afraid, just speak up. Anonymously, it can be done, and just give light to what's going on.
So, Jabu, what are the biggest challenges that police officers face when dealing with illegal mining and extortion cases?
It's the links. There's a number of problems because with everything, like you said earlier on, there is a bigger fish on this, and so certain things are very hard to trace, but we push and make sure that we get by somehow.
All right.
So the challenge, yeah, okay, sorry.
It's okay. And are there any plans to increase funding or resources for the police service to address these types of crimes?
That will definitely be coming from the police that, you know what, we need to capacitate. So with capacitation, funding also must happen. So the national commissioner is very much on this, and work is being done around this. So that will definitely is something that is part of the plan to make sure that the best is done on this matter.
And while all of this is happening, before we let you go, Jabu, how can the police services at least regain the trust of communities, the ones that are affected by illegal mining and extortion?
Well, one thing we need to do is root out corruption. And by rooting out corruption, the community is crying that the police are corrupt, but they're not saying who, where, how, what. And so that needs to be rooted out because as an organization, we are standing against corruption, and fully so. So the community, if the community comes out, at least ways can be made in that direction to root out corruption so that we have police who will be doing a proper job doing the work in rooting out the mining pandemic we are faced with.
All right, Jabu, thank you so much for your time.